Good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jesse. I'm here with Keith, the Cacao Shaman. How you doing today, Keith? We're doing good. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here. Sun is shining, power is out, but luckily Keith has got the hookup on the beautiful generator, so big blessings on that. But yeah, we're here today to talk cacao, to talk about Keith, to talk about his story, to share with you how he got to this place, to be in this place in San Marcos, sharing this beautiful medicine with the world that is, being shared by millions, actually. I know that for sure there must be over 1 million people that have enjoyed Keith's cacao over the course of the last year, maybe, because so many of us are sharing his medicine and coming down here and bringing suitcases back. It's kind of ridiculous. Anyways, I thought it'd be a great idea to just let Keith actually just introduce himself and let him lead us through his glow meditation, which is well known for in the San Marcos community.
Well, welcome to Guatemala. This is our basic raise your energy, raise your frequency, raise your vibration, super simple meditation that you don't do with the mind, you don't do it with the heart. This meditation does you. So close your eyes and ask the smile in your heart to find you. And as that smile spreads over your face and you allow yourself, or fake it till you make it, pretend and smile, you'll notice that you are gently radiating energy. You're glowing. And that this flow of energy is not a draining, a leaking, a loss of energy. In a second or two, you filled up in your cup. Your consciousness is overflowing because it can hold no more. Overflowing out into your reality, into the world. Whether you'd want to send it to someone, something, a place, an event, an idea, a project, a business. Whatever you're excited about, passionate about, would like to bless. Numerous higher dimensional beings say this, right here, what you're doing now. Overflowing with the divine energy that comes from the being you really are, the being that came here and got a human body. This is how we'll change the world. As more and more people bring in, anchor in the energy from their greater self into this world, the vibration will go up. It'll be easier and easier for anyone who chooses to connect to such energies to do so, because there'll just be more of them everywhere. As you raise your energy, you shift into another neighborhood of consciousness where many dramas don't happen. People around you often come out of complaining, blaming, dumping, angry. Customs officials, customer service reps on the phone, salespeople, people on the other side of a computer where you need some papers. It's so much easier. It just flows. If you ever got to deal with the police, go to Glow. Go into this energy. I see it all the time. You got a traffic stop, go to Glow. Overflow with the divine light of your own being, with the energy that comes from your greater reality, multidimensional self, light body, soul self, God self, fourth, fifth dimensional self. And this gentle flow of energy is the juice behind healing, creativity, and increasingly manifestation. It's divine potential. And you're descended to your fun, to your joy and excitement, your play. to overflow. To give. To bless. We've got people here that set their watches or their phones to beep every half hour to go into this energy. And a lot of people out there, Matt Kahn, Bentinho Massaro, say, you do that for 2 weeks, you'll be a different person, because the law of the universe is what you put out is what you get back. You put out blessings, you get back things that appear as blessings in your personal life. So go to Glow. We got a YouTube video on the Glow meditation. There's a section on the website. But this right here, this is all there is. Now that we've got you into a little energetic adjustment, I'm going to give you a little background on myself. I came up through being an herbalist and teacher of edible and medicinal wild plants, teacher of body work. And in the late 80s, I found myself in a meditation and channeling group that was run by higher dimensional beings, channeled through various people in the group. I eventually became one of those channels. And they took us through a training, lasted about 7 years. And they said, if you make it through the training, you'll find yourself where you're supposed to be, working with the people you're supposed to work with in about 15 years. And when I got to Lake Atitlan here in Guatemala, I realized I'm home, and I got my fingers out, and sure enough, it was 15 years later. So I came to the spiritual community on the lake at that time, San Marcos, found a place to live, set up a private practice, and I had a visit from the Cacao Spirit. I'd worked with plant spirit medicine, I'd worked with higher dimensional beings. In meditation, I had a visit from a higher dimensional energy, and it took me a little while, but I identified it as the spirit of chocolate, cacao. And she invited me on a journey. That journey led to 3 years of travel from southern Mexico to Panama. I bought cacao in markets. I visited growers, indigenous peoples, chocolate making factories. I spent a lot of time on the web. I read dozens and dozens of medical journal papers on chocolate. I learned everything from commodities markets and fair trade to commercial chocolate production. The Cacao Spirit led me to some cacao with the energies, and as I began using it, I realized that even the same chocolate from the same people in the same rainforest, from the same trees, the next batch won't have the energy I want. Something's different. And so I began working with the Cacao Spirit directly, and she would send me somewhere. Send me to a wholesale market in a city. Get in the truck, she'd tell me where to go. She'd send me to a little town down by the coast. She'd send me on a Cacao Spirit GPS, turn here, turn there, turn here, turn there, and eventually I'd get my little pickup truck stuck up some four-wheel drive rainforest road, and I'd get out and walk. And at the end of the road, there'd be a community of people, and they'd go, "Whoa, we were wondering why the truck hasn't come to get our cacao. Do you want it?" Last time everybody walked out, whole village full of people walked out. They knew where I was. Walked into the middle of a lake of mud. 35 people picked the truck up, turned it around, pushed it out, loaded the cacao in it, and I brought it back. Now I buy so much of it, I have to have people bring it in a truck. I built a cacao factory. We're finishing our second building for that. Sell it all over the world. We do all hand peeling. Every bean is individually peeled, and then every bean is inspected again. I know the mold and the crap and the bugs that's in cacao. I don't want to eat that stuff, so the cacao we sell has the extra time and expense put into cleaning it. Other people just use the machines. They grind everything. To each their own. When I began using this kind of chocolate, I realized that real chocolate, the old shamanic stuff, was a connection and partnership facilitator. It didn't take you on a trip. Like many of you, I've been with the shamans from indigenous psychedelic using cultures. Cacao doesn't take you on a trip. It opens the door, and whatever you want to connect to is a lot easier to connect to. If you don't connect to anything, nothing happens. It's your choice. If you're presented with something, you choose not to go there, you choose to do what the culture's taught you, push it back down, nothing happens. You're not pushed. Chocolate brings the door but doesn't push you through it. Most of the chocolate in the world, almost all of it from the raw foods folks, is hybridized. It's Central and South American varieties that have been crossbred. It's got a lot of caffeine. I call it too buzzy, no focus. If you normally drink about 3 cups of coffee a day, you'll be all right with that stuff, but it's not our preference. As a connection and partnership facilitator, we started right here at this house. Cacao therapy in groups and with individuals. We started cacao ceremonies, and then cacao hiking, and then cacao yoga, cacao ecstatic dance, cacao breath work, cacao kirtan, and cacao sound healing. And they have gone everywhere, all over the world. We now have half a dozen competitors making chocolate here in town, and another 8 competitors out there in the world. Many of them calling their cacao ceremonial. Well, once in a while it is. But that's okay. The Guatemalan post office closed about 1.5 years ago, and we're just about ready to go with a whole new e-commerce site, keithscacao.com. So we're getting there. We're going to be shipping again.
Mm-hmm.
Have more fun.
Yeah.
We sell this stuff to shamanic journeyers, meditators, and inner workers. We sell it to a lot of artists. Artists, musicians, and writers tell us it takes them to another level. We sell it to quite a few coders, software writers, who tell us it enables them to balance the entire piece of software in their brain simultaneously. We sell it to productive workplace focus holders. We sell it to executive decision makers, because it makes your brain work like you can't believe. It makes your artwork. It connects you to whatever your joy in the moment would be, whatever that is, whether it's dancing, hiking, or the journey into your own consciousness. We sell it to a few channels who use it for their work with multidimensional beings. We sell it to a few partiers because it clears out the space to allow room for more of whatever the fun is that you want to have. It's Cacao is an equal opportunity facilitator, I call it. But she won't do it for you. She'll open the door. And if you go through that door, you'll go deeper, you'll go farther. It'll be clearer, faster, smoother. Writers tell me they can hold 3 times as much stuff in their brain with some of this quality of chocolate in their system. My interest is the inner work, is how to get out of your own way to make room for the magical being that you came here to be. But I go hiking with it. I go on a boat ride across the lake with it. The boats are how you get to other communities here. As we're on a 50 square mile, 128 square kilometer lake. So my fun and why I serve the cacao in my ceremonies is to assist people in connecting to whatever their journey, their magic, their joy, their power, their healing abilities. We specialize at this point in helping a lot of multidimensional healers wake up, in teaching, demonstrating the healing of the new world that everybody already knows how to do. It's all inside. There's not enough time in this lifetime to learn anything. It's all inside. Get out of the way, let it open, learn through experience that you already know how to do what you already know how to do. Trust the process and have more fun. So you want to jump in somewhere with a question and we'll roll with that?
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, just hearing you talk, it's like a Shakti pad. I feel like everything is just upgrading for me, and
it's all a transmission.
It's all a transmission, right? Wow. Yeah, like you know, when you're talking about going to glow, and you know, I shared that story with you, and I think I'll just like even just touch on that. You know, he talks about how we can go to this glow state, put a smile on our face, and raise our vibration, and that can shift something, our reality, into something. Whether it's you need something from a person on the phone, you're talking to another country, and I can vouch for that because last time I went to Guatemala, I actually had to call to like get a fee taken off my bank statement or something, and I was calling the person who was in Guatemala, and it was my Canadian bank, and then they gave me a bunch of money back. And I was just like in that state of hoping that it would be okay, and it was totally you know, ironic that it was a Guatemalan that I spoke to. But even when you spoke to the police last night, I was at the Eagle's Nest seeing Samsara with live music. It was really beautiful, and before I left, I decided to wait for others to walk with me because you know it's not nice to walk super late at night. And the police came, and they instantly like looked at me and they grabbed my backpack and they started searching, and they found a little bag with some shamanic blend that I brought back from Canada, some Mullen, Damiana, these types of things, and they were convinced that it was cannabis, and yeah, they were going to, who knows, right, put me away or arrest me or something, and it was quite a terrifying experience, and I was definitely getting lost in the fear. But then eventually this woman came over and she just held my heart, and she's like, I want you to be in the space between your breaths. I was like, okay, I can do that. She wants you to feel your feet now. And I felt my feet. And she said, I want you to shift into glow. I want you to shift into a parallel reality where this is going to be okay, and these people are going to let you go, and you're going to be walking home safely tonight. and I was trying to imagine myself in my bed, and I was imagining myself drinking tea and all these things to really try to get me out of the fear, because there was a lot of that. And the only moment when that actually shifted was when I just imagined myself sitting here right now with Keith, having this conversation, and the feeling of that, the feeling of being here, being connected to this glow and drinking the cacao and hearing your words. As soon as I really felt into that and I believed it to be so, and it really shifted for me, my heart began to get warm, my body began to like raise its frequency, and all of a sudden the conversation between like the house and the police got really playful and got light, and within 5-10 minutes they actually let me go with a warning. And I couldn't believe it, because I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that I actually shifted into a parallel reality, which is something you talk a lot about, where we can be in that place where anything is possible and our dreams can become manifested, and we can have more control of our reality in that glow state. So there's the proof of the fact that that happened, and now I'm here telling this story, and I think that's a little bit of proof that there is this glow state and there is this ability to be empowered and shift our reality into a parallel reality with our belief system and our being in the heart space. So maybe you want to touch on the whole parallel reality shifting.
Sure. There's two basic ways to go about this fun stuff that we're doing over the next years. One is to use connecting meditations like the glow to raise your frequency, to raise your vibration. When you do that, you connect, because you resonate with them, with increasingly higher vibrational parallel futures, of which there are, ask the quantum physicists from the 1940s, there are an infinite number of them out there. So as you raise your energy resonance frequency, you connect to increasingly powerful and fun futures. In other words, you, as so many people say, you be the shift you want to see in the world. That's one way. The other way is to shift directly to those realities. Bashar calls this the 13th step. Bashar's an extraterrestrial from 700 years in our future who is one of the most fun and well-known extraterrestrial channels out there. He's talking about the 12-step Alcoholics Anonymous program, and he says the 13th step is when you shift into a parallel reality where you no longer drank, where you never drank. So automatically, in that reality, while you are not an alcoholic, you have no craving, you do remember. People who don't quite, who need a little help in getting this, can look up on the web the Mandela effect, and you'll find a huge number of articles and things for that. It talks about, there was a scientist a number of years ago who did a study, and she determined that 27% of the older adults that she interviewed absolutely remembered that Nelson Mandela died in prison. When in our reality, he didn't die in prison. He went on to become, he got out of prison and went on to become the president of South Africa. There are several dozen examples of this out there. One is that you may remember from Star Wars, Luke, I am your father. Now, if you go look at Star Wars, if you find a moldy old DVD in a yard sale, not a single copy of Star Wars on the planet, on this planet, says that. They all say, no, I am your father. You may remember from your childhood Snow White, mirror, mirror on the wall. Again, you will find not a single copy of Snow White available on the planet, where now it says magic mirror on the wall. You may remember the Monopoly Man with his little top hat and his monocle. There isn't a single copy of Monopoly on this planet, even a first edition, where the monopoly man has a monocle, and yet we all remember it. You can look up YouTube videos on this subject. The idea is that we've left ourselves some fun little clues, dozens of them. They spell Oscar Mayer, the meat product people, they spell it differently. They spell all kinds of things differently. We left ourselves a bunch of little clues that parallel reality shifting is normal. As Seth said in the 1970s, it's so seamless you never even notice. Seth said everyone who goes to the ball game shifts to a parallel universe where the team they really want to win wins. He said everyone who goes to a job interview and really wants the job gets the job. It takes place in a parallel universe. So in thinking about that, I figured out how to shift, and in about a week, my entire group was shifting, and in a week and a half, other groups, people that I know that have their groups around the planet, they were shifting, and the stories were pouring in of amazing things happening. And we put up a video called The Art of Ascension on YouTube describing this. And after I'd been doing it about a month, I dove into the internet and found at least a dozen other people, from people doing a shift in a month to a month and a half, to a guy named Bert Goldman. You can buy his $99 training video off of Amazon. He teaches you to connect to a parallel universe and to your doppelganger, your twin. And that twin will teach you, and you bring it back. The Matrix Energetic folks, you can go to rather expensive seminars that they run. They do it in the old shamanic way. They don't teach you how to shift. They teach you how to push someone else into another universe. And I remember a YouTube video of someone being pushed. They got someone from the audience up on stage, and the guy doing the seminar pushed them into a parallel universe, and the person stood up out of their wheelchair that they'd been in for years and began to pick up their wheelchair and smash it on the stage. So there's a lot of people doing this kind of parallel shifting, reality jump. It's called timeline shifting, parallel reality shifting, or quantum jumping. Joe Dispenza does it in his workshops. It's the most accelerated game changer I've seen in a long time. The Oneness book, channeled by Rasha, calls this technique the art of ascension, where you simply shift to a parallel reality where you've finished all your work with what you're working with. It's fully integrated. And there you are. Now, we got a full video on it. There's a lot of details. The major problem with the technique is it's so stupid simple no one can handle it. The doubt, the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt comes up. How can something that is absolutely no work at all? I've watched people drop chronic diseases they've been under medical treatment for 5 decades. Those diseases are gone. It's now 2 years later and they're not back yet. I've watched people with medical conditions that you can see an X-ray, major disc, spinal things, and they just disappear. I've watched people with tumors. They disappear. I've watched people go out and begin to do yoga poses. Typical examples, my sweetheart, she's in her 60s. Certain poses she hasn't done for over a decade, to go out and do every one of her old favorite intermediate to intermediate advanced poses fully, completely, and effortlessly, just by shifting into a parallel reality. Now, what's behind this is that everything out there, yoga, every tool, every meditation, every ritual, every technique out there is a permission slip. If you do yoga several times a week for at least 45 minutes, you give yourself permission to have a flexible body. Or you can jump into the parallel universe where you already have it. And I've seen a number of people do it. I've seen an entire room full of people in a yoga teacher training class shift into a parallel universe and do an asana that they'd either have great difficulty with or had never been able to do it in their life. So, welcome to the new world. Have fun. Matt Kahn put out a wonderful book called Whatever Arises, Love That, at about the time that we were making this video. So we started to say, whatever arises, jump it. Now, if you're jumping it to get rid of it, to make it wrong, you're judging yourself, you want to get rid of it, the technique has limited utility because you're trying to fix. Should we do something with fixing?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Fixing is a healing methodology. It's the way the medical profession works. There's a great deal of fixing in New Age healing. And how it works is there's something wrong with you. And I'm going to help you get rid of your symptoms. And when your symptoms are gone, you're healed. Higher dimensional beings refer to that methodology as insanity. They all say that your symptoms are the messages from your higher self intended to help you get to the next level. You form a cooperative partnership with a microbe, and the microbe makes you sick. Literally, you ask the microbe to make you sick. You get diseases. You can get on the web. You can find out what higher dimensional beings have to say about things like cancer. If you're not growing, that energy's got to go somewhere. And there isn't any place else other than here. So that energy will go into growing a tumor, growing a cancer. It's you. It's your energy. It's got to go somewhere. And if you don't allow it to go where it wants to go, it'll manifest in another way. So if you use your symptoms, if you use the tight places in your body to go deeper, to find out why your neck is stiff, instead of trying to shut up your message or shut your higher self up by stretching it out, then you realize that what yoga means is yoke. Ancient yoga was to hang out in a posture where you feel the tight place and go deeper. Follow it deeper. Decode the messages. The place it's in your body. What is it trying to tell you? How is it a gift that your higher self, working in partnership with your body consciousness, is bringing you? If you shut up the messenger, if you get rid of the symptoms, the only thing that happens is you get a louder message. Eventually, generally it takes decades, the messages get so loud that cancer, heart attacks, strokes, you die from those messages. It's an adventure. It's not easy. It's not complicated either. And you have to want to go deeper. You have to get beyond the, this is wrong with me and I just want to get rid of it. I want to push it down. If you can't keep it down, take a pill. Push it back down for you. When you get beyond that methodology, an entirely different world opens. And then healing becomes access. Many places now it's called holding space. You sit with someone. You become a channel for the higher dimensional energies, including the belief systems, vibrations, and frequencies that they need. They just go through you. The other person receives them and they shift their reality. As they shift their reality, their symptoms vanish. It's a fun trip. This guy's been doing it.
Yeah, I've been doing it. It's funny because, like, I remember in 2012, around the shift that was happening, and I was, awakening to my essence. To everything was vibration, and we're all connected. The duality of you and me wasn't there anymore, and I was starting to see everything in this universal perspective. And I remember how I really wanted to do a yoga teacher training, and I had no money. And I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to convince myself that it's going to happen. I'm going to convince myself that I do have enough money. I will find the money. It will come to me. And that whole summer I was just telling everyone, yeah, I'm doing this teacher training. It's going to be so exciting. Meanwhile, I had no money. And then 3 days before my teacher training, I got a call from the city of Toronto, and they had approved my grant. And they gave me $5,000 3 days before, because I was so convinced. I had shifted myself into the reality where it already happened. And it's something that a lot of people, I think, really need to hear, actually, judging by the comments. I like how you talk about there's like the magic bus, and then there's the hard road. Maybe you want to touch on that a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Because we like to have fun with stuff.
Of course.
We say there's 3 ways to get there. The hard bus, the easy bus, and the magic bus. The hard bus, everyone is well trained in it. It's trauma, drama, pain, struggle, and suffering. It's what Eckhart Tolle talks about. If you don't cooperate with the release process, you have increasing pain, chaos, violence, and insanity in your life. And I'm dealing with dozens and dozens and dozens of people these days who are waking up, and it's terrifying to step out of the closet and into the magic being you already are. And some people are going to wait. You're going to wait a year or two until people you love are in that chaos and insanity, are completely losing it. And then you're going to go, oh yeah, that weird old chocolate dude down there in Guatemala said I was supposed to open something, because the doctors and the psychologists have no idea what to do, but I do. And then you'll open it. So, holding space, channeling the magic. Healing is access. All the higher beings say that. It's access to the vibrations, resonance, and frequencies. Whether you want to get them in a channel, whether you want to, if you don't believe you have the channel, you can get yourself some little electronic or light or vibrational device. There's lots of them out there. You can bring it through in sound, art, writing, music, singing, words. Carry the higher dimensional energies. All that art is a horse on which the higher frequencies ride. And if you learn to connect and flow right out of source those higher frequencies, if you learn that you already know how to do it, then people receive those frequencies through whatever you're sharing. And more people will just walk up to you, have to talk. They know inside. They're ready.
Yes, someone just asked, how does one heal themselves from diseases? And I feel like you kind of touched on that, but do you want to get specific?
Sure. The first part is understanding that you and your body consciousness, your higher self, have chosen something called a disease to get you in touch with something that is out of alignment with who you really are. Something that you came here to change, you want to change. If you are attacking yourself with an autoimmune disease, what an amazing metaphor. To help you get in touch with something you're doing on another level. If it's bacterial, viral, You're in a, to quote Seth from the 70s, a cooperative endeavor with another species of consciousness, where you ask that consciousness to help you out. There are many ways to do this, and it is personal, it's individual, it's your own journey, it's going deeper. It's going into your fears. So close your eyes. Imagine yourself walking in your body up to the place inside that isn't right. An area, an organ, a systemic condition. Sit down next to it. Touch it, if you will. Imagine. Pretend. Fake it till you make it. It's all good. Go inside. Go deeper. And imagine connecting to the consciousness. Everything has a consciousness behind it. A table has a consciousness. Feel, see, or sense what you're working with. However you input will be enough. You don't have to have an awesome shamanic visualization with this thing that's got you and holding you and restricting you. And imagine that you're the one who is, with your own energy, empowering this situation in order to help you. So, step number one is imagine dropping the judgments, the make wrong. This is wrong with me. This is attacking me. This is hurting me. And imagine the possibility that you are on a magical journey. That you're getting help from higher dimensional levels of your own being to help you with that journey. To give you something called a disease that will get your attention and you can't ignore. Imagine that you got message after message after message and ignored them, pushed them back down, as the culture teaches all of us to do. And now they're loud enough that you can't ignore it because it's called a disease. Imagine that you are so loved, cared about by another level of your own being, that it is insisting that you pay attention. So welcome this energy. Nope, you don't have to like it. You do not have to like the situation you find yourself in. But we're asking you to drop the negative energy, the judgment, the it's wrong, you're wrong, however you do it. And walk into this situation. Imagine whether it's an organ, a condition. Imagine that it's a room and you walk into that room. Walk right into the door, into the middle of whatever's going on. As a metaphor, and see in this room, whether you see it, sense it, or feel it, what does your higher self present you with? Does it present you with your own beliefs that you are being attacked? Does it present you with something that actually needs your love rather than you trying to get rid of it. It needs you to embrace it. Ask it for help to explore what this is really about metaphorically within. Maybe it's like in the background, it's the mad dog going to bite you and mess up your life. So your job is to decode the gift by connecting and communicating with it in some way. Seeing it, sensing it, feeling it somehow. Your job is to welcome all the doubts. This is crazy. This is wrong with me. I need to get rid of this. I'll be fine if it's gone. All of it welcomed. And as you sit with it, even hold the space in this room, invite in higher dimensional energy called light if you experience it energetically, or love if you experience it emotionally. Ask that energy to come in and connect with whatever you've found. Whether you have a feeling of it, whether it's only a place, whatever. Invite the energy of your greater being. Go to glow. Go back into the glow meditation and ask that flow, that overflow of energy to help you with what you're working with inside. Ask your higher self, your guides, the angelic level, your power animals, the ascended masters, your extraterrestrial friends. Doesn't matter. It's all one at that level. Ask. Not that they get rid of it for you. Not that you bring in the big light cannons and fry what's wrong with you to get rid of it, just as if you now have a new drug made of higher dimensional energy. But to show you, what is my journey with this part of my reality that I don't prefer? Why am I manifesting it? Why is it gifting me? To force me to listen to something that I'm not listening to. To go somewhere I'm terrified to go. To allow something I don't feel ready, I don't feel deserving. And just imagine, know that higher energy is connecting with your problem. And again, not to get rid of it, but to help you with the ancient, classic core of all religions, know thyself. Why are you choosing this for yourself? Why is this the gift you've given yourself? Is it simple? You believe in struggle and pain to get where you're going? Well, fine. Is it much deeper than that? Is it showing you where there's a blockage to the flow of energy that you need to open up? Now, put your hands out in front of you, like this. Let them settle down on your lap, on the table, so you don't have to hold them up in the air. And ask your higher self, your guides, to pop out of you, into your hands, some important little part or energy behind what you believe is wrong with you. To literally take some energy behind the surface manifestation called a disease and put it right in your hands. So again, in some way you can see it, sense it, or feel it. Hold it. Is it heavy? Is it dark? Is it light? If you'll allow yourself, you'll be able to get in touch with it in some way. You might feel the difference with it being out of your body. And then put it back inside. Put it back inside you and feel what your choice to have this inside you does to you. Why would you choose something that makes you small, slows you down, sits on you, restricts you, limits you? Why do you believe that's a good idea? And as you feel it, again, out of you it comes, back into your hands in front of you. A little more of it this time, whatever you're ready to release in your journey, whatever you're ready to look at. Back into your hands in front of you. Little psychic surgery here, where you don't really cut it out of you, you just allow, you ask. You get out of the way, and there it is in your hands. And if it wants to go up, give it to the angels. If it wants to go down, give it to the Mother Earth. Let your friends transmute it, clean it up for you. It's not your job. They know what they're doing. And as you feel it release from your hands, welcome into your hands whatever your higher self would give you to replace these energies, these belief systems, these densities within you. And fill your hands up with that, and then give it to yourself. Put it inside. Let it go in your body wherever it needs to go. And as it spreads in you, however you can feel it, however you're aware of it, understand that many people in the beginning will block the awareness. It's just too scary to know that you can know. Now we're going to do that processing work. What we just did here is the easy bus. And now we're going to take a little magic bus journey, where we're going to shift to a parallel reality where you have made some changes inside, whatever your own divine knowing, your higher self would set up for you. So it's real simple. I'm going to ask you just to take a full but gentle breath. Breathe in right now. And then let it out. And there you are, in a parallel reality. Many of you will feel the difference immediately of having taken a seamless shift to what is literally a different universe, a different timeline, a different parallel reality, where something is different. Whether you have a little more joy, a little more light, a little more trust, or a little less symptom. So, once again, here we go. Your higher self has lined up for you a parallel universe where you can feel the difference. Breath in. Breathe in. Let it out. And there you are. Now, I've seen people, really, really good students, be absolutely unable to do this for a week or two. And then they're jumping all over the place, changing reality everywhere, having a lot of fun, being amazed at how plastic and flexible the universe is. So have fun. There's a simple example of how you can do multidimensional healing work. Receiving something out of yourself or out of someone else where you can take a look at it. Put it back inside so you can understand it a little bit more. It's a simple healing technique of the New World. It's not fixing. It's not getting rid of something because you don't like it and you'll be better without it. It's using it as a gift, and you will get to the place where you understand it is absolutely impossible for the universe to bring you anything except a gift designed to take you to the next level. If you use it as the gift it is, you go to the next level. If you don't, you get a repeat performance of the gift. All right. Where do we want to go next?
Oh, wow, I'm totally blessed, man.
We got any more questions?
Yeah, there were some questions. Yeah, let's pull them up. Let's pull them up. Okay.
The basic idea here is that anyone listening to this broadcast is an amazingly powerful, multidimensional, highly trained healer. Yeah, no, I'm going to hide in the closet. Keep me safe from who I am. Well, okay. Have fun as long as you want to. Stay safe. Until who you are gets even more insistent at coming to get you. What do we got here?
Well, one woman said, I have this flow and I have the calling to do more work on this level. I find myself wanting to do this work with others, but do shy away. How do I build the discipline and courage? I am always 1 foot in and 1 foot out. I create scenarios and mindsets to tell myself I am not yet ready. I feel I am at the moment, at the jumping point.
Yes. Well, the first thing that's going to have to go is the discipline. Throw that one out the window. Because that will make it into work. And you've already figured out that work is not the way to get you there. Relax. Right now, close your eyes. Call in the fun. Your impulse to do this, you know how to do this, The energies are already flowing through you. The resistance will come up. The I'm not good enough. The I need to learn more. Whatever story you've got, it'll be there. It was for me. It is for everybody. Understand that the basic thing you're involved in is the I know I can and you know you can't. So I can and you can't. And there really is no more to it than that. The healer, the energy worker that you are, is inside, is doing just fine, would like to be allowed. So let go of discipline, let go of pushing, let go of making yourself wrong. And instead of trying to go and do this, I need to do that, relax and look at the part of you that says no. What if you've got a part of you saying no inside? No to your empowerment. No to your magic. And that part of you is actually a gift. What if on another level, a higher level, you know that where you're going to need love and compassion. So you give yourself this part of you that says no. And you empower it with your power. And it gets in the way. It throws up the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It blocks you. It prevents you. It tells you you're not good enough. It tells you you don't know enough. It tells you you don't have an understanding of what you're doing. Imagine that the last job of that part of you is that it is not going to leave until you love and embrace it. That it is there to teach you the love and compassion that you want to go on in this world with. And you gave it the job of grabbing you and not letting go until you love something that you do not love, until you quit fighting something that you fight, until you accept something that you hate. That its last job is to teach you the love that you want to rock this world with, and it is not letting go until you accept that love. Imagine that it is a teaching device. It's the teaching materials that you designed out of the highest of creativity to get you exactly where you wanted to go. And imagine that it's doing its job by slamming you back down again and again until you find the love, the compassion, the acceptance that you are going to need to, as we said, rock this world with your power. Really? How stupid are you? Do you want to have all that power without the love and compassion? Do you want to have a big, powerful third chakra that supports the heart, but not love that guides the power? I don't think so. We've all done that in many, many lifetimes so that we could finish with it. This time, we want third chakra power that supports the fourth chakra love, and love that guides the power. So you give yourself something that you do not love, that is wrong with you, that is in your way. And then you find within yourself the ability to have love and a lot of gratitude for it because this is the part of you that is absolutely going to guarantee that you do not have your power if you are not in alignment with higher love. Next.
Yeah. Okay.
You can't get there from here without the love. And so you design something that won't let you get there without the love.
Yes.
Okay.
He believed it to be so. And
All right.
So.
Bingo.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That was like the hit on so many levels for so many things for me. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's so
Yeah,
universal.
I mean, how are you going to learn to change this world except by love?
Yeah.
And you're going to learn that inside by having things that you don't love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, go out and manifest a partner who is the living example of everything you don't love. And then try and love them and make them change. And finally figure out, oh, geez, that's not the way to go about it. It's an inside job. I'm trying to do it outside. Well, that resonates with a few people
Oh,
out
yeah,
there.
big time. Big time. Well, Chris Larson Gould asks, I worry about the health of the earth and her creatures. Keith, do you have faith in her ability to remain vital despite the humans and their destruction?
Oh.
That's a good one.
This is a good one. Basically, this is arrogance. You think the Mother Earth is not a powerful being who knows exactly what she's doing? Where did you get that idea? What if she is in a partnership with us to play the role that we need to wake up, to stop the toxic, chemical, environmental stuff? How are we going to learn if we don't have help from a magical being who will play the role of being wounded? You don't know that the marine biologists on the west coast of the United States and Canada have for 3 years been watching an absolutely phenomenal food chain collapse. You don't know that they are watching astonishing numbers of mutations take place in the small organisms of the ocean. You don't know that we're in the middle of the biggest ecosystem collapse ever. You don't know that those marine biologists are no longer permitted to measure radiation in the Pacific Ocean because they figured out that the release of radiation from Fukushima, as a number of higher beings say, was 10 to 20 times what the Japanese announced. Because the Japanese weren't stupid. They knew if they told the truth, the way shame is in the Japanese culture, the Japanese public would have never been able to recover. You don't know yet. Because if you're one of those marine biologists and you say anything publicly, you instantly lose your job. You don't know that. You also don't know that Mother Earth is coming to our rescue. Come on, you saw Avatar. At the critical moment, the dragons went against the helicopters. That is exactly what's happening. Mother Earth, the empowered being that she is coming to our rescue. It's beautiful. What you're needed to do is realize that energetically and help other people out of their fear by getting out of your own. We got a few lessons to learn. Global warming has been nice. It's gotten people talking, even if they're not doing anything. Well, wonderful. Now we're ready for a huge escalation. A phenomenal ecosystem disaster. Unimaginable. You can find this on the web. It's hard to find. If you Google for food chain collapse, Pacific Ocean, and minus for CO2, you can uncover it. You don't want to look at the stuff that's about CO2. It's out there. Some of the stuff has been leaked from the scientists at the University of Victoria in British Columbia, Canada. It's out there. But none of the environmental organizations want to know. It's way too big. It's just like UFOs. Oops, I don't want to know. I don't want to have any idea that 3.5 years ago, the head Canadian defense minister gave parliamentary hearings and publicly announced the numbers of extraterrestrial species and where in the galaxy they come from. You don't want to know that. You really don't want to know. You want to be nice and safe and small and in a little world where we are hurting the earth instead of her playing a phenomenally powerful role for us. And don't worry. If you don't understand parallel realities, if you haven't gotten this thing behind the Mandela effect, if you don't know that we are going to change all of it, even if we lose a few of the whales from this species collapse, we'll get it. Don't worry about it. We'll get it. If you start jumping parallel realities, what if you jump to the planet Earth where all the frogs have gone and are waiting for us? If you know about that stuff with the frogs. What if you do that? What if you realize that reality is not the lineal thing that you realize? What if you jump to a parallel Earth where there isn't a single human being on the planet because we nuked ourselves? Why don't you go and visit that planet, which is just as real as this one, if you can handle this woo-woo shit. It's just as real as this one, but we did it there so we don't have to do it here. Sometimes here in my ceremonies on the porch, we take people to visit that planet. Not a single human being left. It's a little bit like Chernobyl. So relax. Let go of a fear-based reality. If you want to help this planet, stop posting and reposting on Facebook about the fuckers, about what you hate, about what's wrong. What you put out is what you get back. That's the law of the universe. If you post, if you are in some other kind of energy other than unconditional love for those fuckers destroying the planet, you are creating a negative grid work. And you are telling the universe to fill in your negative grid with other negative things in your personal life, and she will. You don't have to like it. It does not have to be your preference. But it's time for you to understand that the universe understands passion only. If you are passionately for something or passionately against something, you are voting for it with your energy, because the universe doesn't understand not. Do you know there's some indigenous languages that do not have the not word? They don't have a negative because the universe doesn't have one. So get out of your negatives and quit generating negative grid works. And find unconditional, compassionate love for all those people that don't get it yet. Except, what if you're the problem? And as long as you keep generating negative grid works, that's what you're going to see outside. There's no world out there. Everybody says that. It's all inside your consciousness, and nothing changes until you do. You want to, we're going to jump into it here. You want to change the world? Raise your vibration, and you'll have higher and higher vibrational realities come to you. You want to change the world? Jump there. You want to change the world? Stop supporting the negativity with your own passion. How many times do you hear love is the answer? If you fight those fuckers out there, you're going to make them stronger. Doesn't mean you can't participate in a demonstration if you're there with love. If you're there with compassionate understanding that they have to learn the same way you are learning, through experience, over time. And that what the universe needs most from you is for you to be who you are, to step into the magic being you are, because most of the teaching on this planet will happen by example. For you to have more love, more prosperity, more magic, more healing abilities, to convince other people who are still choosing fear instead of that love to join you. If I offer you, hey, you want to be a magical spiritual being? I've got a great cave, and it's cold and damp, and you're going to sit on your ass on a rock in a puddle for 10 years, and then you'll be spiritual. How many people want that? But if I say that to be spiritual, you have to have ridiculous amounts of love in your life. You have to know how to heal people. You have to have lots of joy, power, and you've got to have prosperity. You got a cash flow where you can do anything you want, anywhere, at any time. Where you are that supported by the universe. That's how you heal. By being an example of the magic. By understanding that the universe is down on her knees, begging you to accept your magic and prosperity. Because that, not that damp cave, that's what other people need to choose love over fear, is you being an example of that love. Right now, I know people, they sit in my classes, who have gotten out of their way enough that their world is absurd. Magical, unbelievable things keep happening again and again and again and again and again. Things better than they could imagine. The universe just FedExes them into their lap. Just like this guy. 3 days before he needs the cash, there it is. Right on time. That is the new normal. If that's not your life, know that you're close. Know that you've got a little bit of fear, a little bit of hate, a little bit of judgment to let go of. And I mean a little bit compared to what you've already let go of. Know that you're that close to having that much fun. That level of magic is already in harmony with now. If you're not experiencing that, know that you're close. Know that arises from inside that you don't like is something asking you to welcome it and bless it, bring the light into it and let it go. Bring the love to it and let it go. How are we doing with that?
We're doing real good. Maybe we have one more question.
Yeah.
So this is from my friend Peter Akari. He is actually he's created this drink called Sacred cacao drink, and it's a cacao drink, and it's going mainstream. It's in stores all over Toronto and all over Ontario, and he's super connected to cacao. He's like the cacao guy in Ontario, and he asked, I know that Keith does not refer to himself as a shaman, so what does he call himself, and when does someone deserve to be called a shaman? Just curious. I love getting different opinions.
Who cares? I mean, I got the name Cacao Shaman, oh goodness, 14 years ago when I first started doing this, and it's stuck. You're talking about certification. There's two kinds of licenses, inner licenses and outer licenses. An outer license is where you go to a school, you go to authority, you go to somebody else who already calls themselves a shaman, and you get a certification. An inner license comes from oneness, comes from source. Some people have one, some people have the other, some people have both. If you don't know that you already have an inner license, go get yourself some outer licenses and find it that way. That works. I'm not attached to the name shaman or anything else. I do fun. Purpose of life is fun, and the highest fun is loving and being loved. So if your fun is to go to school and get certifications, if your fun is to be a shaman, if your fun is to play tiddlywinks, that will rock the world.
So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think like the last thing I'd like to ask you is if the entire world, the 7 point whatever billion people on the planet were all of a sudden their television screens or their consciousness were connected to this feed and connected to your words, what would you like to share with all of humanity if you had the opportunity to?
Close your eyes. Feel around you, right, left, front, back, above you, feel around you a presence. A simple energy, something. This is the light being that you are. A light being came and got a human body. You think that you are searching, you're seeking, you're studying spirituality, you're learning. Bullshit. You're a being of light dealing with a human being pretending to be human. And over the next years, your pretending is going to fall away. If you do it on the hard bus, the universe will kick the pretending out of you by the butt. If you're on the easy bus, you do a lot of inner processing, inner work. If you're on the magic bus, you'll love. You'll jump into one parallel universe and another after another. Your sweetheart will say to you, I feel ready for a magical upgrade. Let's make love. So feel this presence around you. Who you already are. Who you come from, who you are, and where you're going. It will happen. You don't have a choice. You made the choice before you were born. It will happen. You do not have a choice. You can stand up on your board and ride this wave of light and have the biggest adventure you've ever had in any lifetime on this or any other planet ever. All the higher beings say that. Or you can be under the wave, getting your face pounded into the sands of drama. Either way, the wave's going to take you where you're going. Hard bus, easy bus, or magic bus. It will happen. So close your eyes right now. Ask that to your right, your inner 5-year-old sit down next to you, just to your right. Maybe they're in pain. Maybe they're confused and afraid. Maybe you hate them and you push them down into your body. You don't even know where they're, but let them sit right beside you. Now look off into the distance as you sit there with your 5-year-old. Look off into the distance. And out of a mist steps your future. You in the future, 7 to 8 years from now. Your highest probable, highest vibration, most love, most magic, most fun future. And begins to walk toward you. This you has already done the work that you'll be doing over the next years. Is already on the other side of the chaos. We're in about 5 years of real chaos on the planet. It's going to look really, really ugly. Don't worry about it. Trust the process. Most people are going to have to move their stuff that they won't feel any other way. They're going to create dramas to feel it. Pain, chaos, violence, and insanity in their life. Let them have it. They're allowed. It's their choice. So do you like this you from the future? Are they happy? Are they radiant? Are they doing something of service? Are they having fun? Do they have lots of love? And let them sit down next to you, to your left. Now they will remember you, and they will know that if you hadn't done the work you've already done, they could not be who they are. So they're going to be immensely grateful to you. Now ask your 5-year-old to go over and sit in their lap. To sit in the lap of the you that has done their inner child work. That has healed the inner partnerships. Let your wounded, magical inner child go. Sit in your future self's lap. Get some love. Lots of it. Maybe the love they didn't get back then. The understanding, the being seen for the little wizard they were that had no place in their world. Be understood for the shutdown process that they're in, closing lots of doors, getting rid of magical parts of themselves, all of which will be coming back. So let that little one get a big hug. Get lots of love. Now we are working in a quantum reality. We are changing your past. And with a different past, you will, of course, have a different present. In the 1980s, my teachers taught me how to change the past, so my life could change. Here, your future is helping you to change your past. You know, about a year ago, some Australian physicists published a paper in a physics journal. They did an experiment. They did the classic double-slit experiment, classic quantum physics experiment. They did it with a particle instead of a wave. And they came up with a conclusion that they had a lot of trouble handling. So they brought in a lot of other physicists, and they repeated the experiment over and over and over with lots and lots of variables, and they finally published. What they published was that the particle chose its past from its future. Real quantum physicist published. The particle chose its past from its future. And they weren't ridiculed. It was accepted and understood by other physicists. So this is what you're doing now. You're changing your past from your future. So you can be a little different right here, right now. You may feel the change in yourself as healing happens to that 5-year-old in your past. This future you has developed all these healing techniques that you have inside you. They've allowed them out. They're familiar with them. They know how to use them. And if you'd like, why don't you join the hug? And be embraced by both your future and your past. Soak it up. As the magic of the future and the pain and the consensus reality shut down of the past blend and touch each other. Soak up more of your own love, light in the now. Receive, allow. My teacher said this is a 3-step process. Step number 1, allow. Step number 2, allow. Step number 3, allow. We got more questions? We out of time? Where are we at here?
Yeah, I feel like we could wrap it up. Yeah, so grateful that we had this time and you were open to connecting and sharing your message and your teachings and your wisdom with the mainstream, and we'll upload this to YouTube and you can have it on your channel. And
great, more fun.
Yeah, and if you want to know more about Keith, in the event page, in the about all the details, and you can connect to him. And I actually just found out that you do Skype sessions as well, one-on-one Skype sessions. Is
yes.
that true? So if you feel really called to connect to Keith, I'm sure you could write him a message. You can find him on Facebook at Keith Wilson, or there's another page you have as well, right?
The Facebook page would be keith.wilson.glow.
Keith.wilson.glow. So if you feel called to tap into that, tap into Keith, definitely do that. And if you can, come to Guatemala. Come sit on his porch. Come be in the Shaktipat of all the beautiful energy, and drink this amazing cacao, which I'm so blessed to. Like last year, I brought back 44 pounds of your cacao, and I remember bringing it back, being like, "Oh God, what am I going to do with all of this?" And I've been using them in ceremony up until the full moon before I came, and officially ran out, and it's time to.
We're kind of finishing with shipping cacao out of Guatemala and sending it with people, and we almost have a website open.
Yeah.
So we're working on it.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
So
soon as the post office gets up and running here again.
No, we're shipping from the States now.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
we're completely, we're going to bypass.
Good.
So instead of like taking 4 to 6 weeks to get to Europe, it'll take about 10 days.
Oh, perfect.
That sort of thing.
So you're going to have a driver just drive it to America and then ship it up, or?
We air freight it or ship it by container on a boat.
Perfect. This is getting... Yeah, and once
Oh
that
yeah,
start happening...
big
people-
time craziness, business, chaos, lawyers out the wazoo.
Yeah, the logistics of saving the world, right?
Yeah, the logistics of saving the world are, you want to open a bank account, it takes a lawyer in Guatemala City 1.5 months to get the paperwork together to open a business bank account.
Yeah.
You know,
The resistance is real.
takes you more money to open the account than you're going to have to put in it once it gets open.
Well, I'm sure it'll all be fine. I'm sure it'll all work out, and the medicine will continue to get shared. But again, I highly suggest coming to Guatemala, the ecstatic dance capital of the world, maybe. Oh my God, I think I've danced every single day since I've been here and
Yeah.
drank more cacao. Actually,
Yeah.
I was drinking more cacao before I came here. To
The
be
yoga
honest.
capital of Central and South America, right here.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's just like so many things to do. It's like totally overwhelming. I don't think I've stopped taking workshops since I've been here. Ugh, which is so magical.
there is a page on visiting on our website that'll clue you into what you need to bring and what the weather and the such conditions are here.
Perfect. So you can get super tapped in and feel safe when you come. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Keith, for your time and again, just like sharing your message with the world. Like, I remember sitting in your first ceremony the first day I got here, and I was like, this needs to be shared. This needs to be heard. This needs to be felt by the masses. And there could be a lot of healing that could happen on the microcosm and the macrocosm. So again, I'm just really grateful.
Well, I sit with my sweetheart Barbara, and she's the power on the mouth, and this is an expression of our fun and our play and our joy. And tomorrow, if something else is more fun, you can have the cacao ceremonies. we'll be whatever's more fun, we'll be there.
Beautiful, brother. Beautiful. Well, again, thank you so much, and thank you everyone who's tuning in and watching and all your questions. I wasn't able to get to all the questions. Could have sat here all day and talked clearly, but we'll let you all go. So do enjoy your day. Stay blissed.
One more question, quick. There is one. I can feel it.
There's one. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
there's
all
one. You'll find it right away.
right. Okay. So the next question that I saw on the list is from Magdalena Calenda. What is your favorite tool for self-love and or your definition of self-love?
Self-love, acceptance, compassion, self-honoring are all part of the same general package. The understanding is that you were taught not to love yourself. And in undoing that, in finding the ways, the belief systems you have that say you're not good enough, you don't deserve, the way to become a better person is to beat yourself up, is to put yourself down, whatever it is. In finding those things and lovingly release them, you will have room for the natural self-love that you and everyone has. So rather than going and getting more, finding it, which you can do, you can ask your higher self to bring back a piece of self-love that you parked in another dimension that's been taken care of until you were ready to have it back. You can do that, but you can also find the ways where you have learned that you don't deserve it, you're not good enough, you shouldn't have it, you actually don't want it. Find those things, and in loving them, the self-love will be there.
Thank you. There is actually one more. It might be a nice conclusion.
All right.
How do you deal with people that are completely blind? People that just don't get it. You know, they're not chiming in on that. I guess people would be like friends and or family members or just anybody you meet who's completely oblivious to the power they are.
You accept it as a gift to help you become more compassionate, more loving, less judgmental, and allowing everyone to have their own truth. Because if you can allow other people to have their truth, you don't have to like it, but if you can love them in their own truth, what'll happen is you'll let you have your own truth, and you'll start following yourself. You'll start throwing away all of the things that disempower you. You'll throw away organic gardening. You'll throw away permaculture. You'll throw away vegetarian, vegan, and raw foods. You'll throw away all of these disempowering belief systems where instead of following what your body wants, you give your power away to a system, a philosophy. Instead of doing a whole bunch of stuff that you have in your head about gardening or permaculture, you'll actually talk and communicate with the nature spirits of the plants, the gardens, the areas, and the ecosystems involved. Permaculture was put out of business 30 years ago. Get on the web and spend $10 and buy from the Paralandra garden folks their PDF and learn how to communicate with the nature spirits. Learn how to listen to your own body instead of following a philosophy. Maybe it'll tell you to eat meat. Some people need to do that for their own internal harmony. Mostly, it'll probably tell you to eat less. If you start that journey, if you start a detox journey, look into intermittent fasting, where you restrict your eating to a 6 to 8 hour window so that you go through the 12-hour window when you shift from carbo to fat, ketosic metabolism, and you really start to detox. You know, there's an ancient, I think it's an Arabic saying, 1/4 of what you eat is for you. The other 3/4 is for the doctors. So eat less. You'll go through an amazing detoxification. All your shit will come up. Eat less. You want another acceleration? Fall in love. Another acceleration? Get in a business partnership. That's why Barbara and I have both. we double dip. Yes, yes. It's absolutely guaranteed that your shit's going to be all over the place. And learn how to work with that stuff. Learn how to use your dramas as the gifts they are. I've got a page on my website called The Spiritual Relationship. Study that. Once you stop judging and going, hey, you know, if you just change, everything would be fine. Nothing changes until you do. If you ask, literally ask on another level the other person to play the other end of your script because you want to get to the bottom of that script and finish it, then they're not going to change until you do. So drop the blame, drop the judgment, blame of the other person or yourself, and learn how to use your dramas as the gifts they are.
All right. Let us conclude with a bell.
Ding dong.
So again, thank you guys for tuning in. Keith is here. Message him, communicate with him, book a session, come to Guatemala, drink cacao, honor it in your own way, share the medicine, be empowered. That's what the big thing here for me that I get from this is follow your dreams, listen to your heart space, and allow the magic within you to be expressed. Truly.
Everybody's got their own path. Everybody's got their own journey and their own truth. And if you step on it, it's a rocket ship. You know, if you fall in love, it's a rocket ship. You can go to the moon, or you can have one hell of an explosion on the launch pad. Have fun.
Have fun. Until next time. Glow strong, my friends. All the love.